One of our favorite Good Life trips is always to the Huber Orchard and Wineries in Starlight, Indiana. Where else can one enjoy a petting zoo, a farmer's market, a cheese shop, an ice cream shop, hundreds of acres of fruit orchards, a restaurant, and, oh yes, a winery, not to mention acres and acres of grapevines. Ted Huber is owner, winemaker, and consummate host of this entertainment wonderland. Well, Ted, since our last visit, you've been quite busy. Now, this used to be the production room when we were here before, and now it's just the bottling room.
Right. We need every bit of tankage down here now just to hold wines for aging, white wines and blush wines. And we need a new facility to process grapes and process fruit wines and up there. So we added on quite a bit to open us up and give us more room to process in.
We're going to go take a look at that new space. And Ted, we're actually walking under the road in this tunnel that you dug out.
Yes, we came out of the old original wine cellar down that was built in the 70s underground. And we wanted to save our access road out there so we can still move wine and case goods through around. And so we decided to tunnel underneath the road and bring this over here and build this building here for our new production room. And so it gave us a lot more room now for our processing plant, basically.
Today, Ted and assistant winemaker Jason are starting the fermentation process, which is how juice becomes wine. Yeast is added to the juice to eat the sugar and then convert to alcohol. And you can smell this yeast is incredible, and they do each smell differently. Each batch of yeast.
Each batch, and you could people don't realize that yeast makes that big a difference in a tank of wine. But you can just smell how the yeast smells by itself. And each one of these conducts fermentation at a different pace. 1118 down here, if we let it go, would probably finish out in 5 or 6 days. R2, our experiment with it so far, it's not quite as fast, but it's also very fast. Now the one I'm getting ready to add right here is actually a very slow working yeast. It took all the experiments we've done so far this year, it's been the slowest. You can see I'm starting to get a really big hit on this. This is not going to be a fun job.
You have splash vision here, I think. Yeah. Look at that. Woo. Right on in there.
So we're in with that one.
Meanwhile, Jason starts a malolactic fermentation on this tank of Chardonnay.
What we want to do here is reduce all of the malic acid, all the tartness, and it'll give the wine a more rounded mouthfeel and it'll also enhance the aroma in some ways.
Making wine is hard work, but tasting is not. And from the tank, eventually, it will become this wonderful white blossom. This is one of your most popular and award-winning wines.
Award-winning wines, yeah, we do really well. This is the one coming out of the French oak, the malolactic, the whole thing you saw earlier. This is the finished product right here. This is the 2000, obviously, coming from last year, recently released. Holds two gold medals already this year. It really turned out well. It was our first experience with French oak. We've always been using American oak here at the winery for the last 20-something years. But last year we thought with this Chardonnay coming in and what we want to do with it, soften it up a little bit, we started bringing in French oak, and I think it really turned out well. And the public have liked it in the competitions.
The wine judges, absolutely. Yeah. It's magnificent. You get the wonderful nose of the honey and the pears, and then on the taste you get a little bit of that buttery, with more vanilla. Of the fruit, and then in the mid-palate, that cleansing mineraliness, and then the citrusy tang at the end. It's such a mouthful. Yes, melon in there. I'm getting all kinds of flavors now.
We figured out that I think this grape is going to grow really well. We first planted it in 1982 here on the farm. They've been experimenting with it since then, and we think we're really going to have a really nice grape. It likes this area, likes this particular part of the farm up here. It does really, really well, and produces some really good wine.
Here's to the white blossom, Ted. Ted grows 15 different varieties of grapes on nearly 40 acres of land, but by far his most popular grape is Chambourcin. And here are the beautiful and bountiful Chambourcin grapes. You're going to have a heck of a crop this year, aren't you?
They're looking great. They're looking
fabulous.
Really good this year.
And you've already picked some, but you're waiting for these.
Yeah, we're waiting on these. We set different crop loads on the different acreage that we have out here. We do some younger vines at 2 ton and 3 ton and 4 ton an acre. Some of the older vines we're doing at 5 ton and 6 ton an acre. And the heavier tons we're going to give a few more days, maybe up to 10 days, 2 weeks before we go ahead and bring these in.
And tasting these grapes are fabulous. You just get the fruit flavor. And I bit the seed because Ted's telling me the only way to really test a red grape is to taste it, and you learn different things from the taste.
Yeah, we like to not only taste the grape and how the grape tastes, we want to crack the seed in our mouth and see how the seed tannins are doing. We want to take the skins and chew up a mouthful of skins and see how the skin tannins and the skin flavors are doing, because these later harvest ones are going to be on the skins from 14 to 21 days before we press them off. So we want to make sure the skins taste well too, because all the flavor of the skins will go into the finished wine.
Oh, it's a great flavor, let me tell you. And it goes into these two wines specifically, the Heritage and the Generations.
Yes, these are the two reds that we have out that are for the heavier wine drinkers. We also do Chambourcin as a varietal, but what we picked today will go into the Chambourcin as the varietal, because it's going to be a little lighter and a little more fruit oriented. Won't go through as heavy of an oak barrel treatment, and it won't go through as much bottle aging either. So it's a little lighter, a little more fruit oriented, where these two are done fairly heavy with a lot of new oak, a lot of skin contact, much riper fruit, going for a whole lot more complexity.
Yeah, on the nose you get that sweet vanilla, that black raspberry kind of thing.
Right. And by the way, I haven't told you this. This is the first vintage coming off of our own wood barrels that we harvested straight north of here in the woods over here. We harvested our oak barrels. We did a 3-year air dry treatment, and the wine was aged through our own wood barrels. So that sweet vanilla character you get from some of the wood and the wood character.
That's how you taste it too.
It was estate grown also. So we're one of the only wineries in the world that actually produces their own barrels on property.
That's incredible. But we're talking about a big, dry red wine. Don't misinterpret me when I say we taste the sweetness out of this. This is just fruit and tannin and.
Oh yeah, this wine we're still selling in 1994 right now. So it's 7 years old. So this wine does quite well in the bottle. Yeah. Certain vintages do better than others. The 99 that we're tasting right now will probably do 5 to 7 years in the bottle. Probably not as good as the 1994 that we have right now, that really now is just becoming peak for it. The 98 did very well. The 98 will probably live as long as the 94 vintage. 99 is a little more fruit oriented, so we expect it to do 5 to 7 years in the bottle.
Great, and here's to the 2001 vintage as well. Cheers.